Namaste दोस्तों, welcome to part 5 of our collaborative project management system series in ASP.NET Core. In this video, we will focus on creating the core domain entities for our application, and these are simple POCO objects. POCO classes means plain old CLR objects. Classes that represent the real world objects our system will manage. So these objects are project, task, user, team, comment and attachment. So we are not connecting these to a database or adding business logic yet. This step is all about defining a clean, maintainable domain model that will be used in the next steps when we integrate Entity Framework core in the infrastructure layer. So with that said, let's move on to the next slide. So what are the learning objectives? So you can go over this, but let me also make a summary of what we are going to learn is understand the role of domain models in collaborative PMS.core. So remember, we created 3 projects in our collaborative PMS solution. One was the core project, another was the infrastructure, and the third was the web API class. So core and infrastructure projects are class libraries. Okay, so we'll create the POCO classes for project, task, user, team, comment, and attachment, and include navigation properties for relationship to be mapped later, and prepare for Entity Framework core integration and database migrations. So let's see where we are in the architecture. So we'll be working in the domain layer, that is the core project, which holds the business entities and keeps infrastructure and UI concerns separate. And let's see the inside the core models. So project, task item, user, team, comment, and attachment will be the models. And each file will hold a simple C# class with ID, as has been the conventional in my past videos. If you have seen on ASP.NET Core, we'll have created in the models folder all the classes one by one, and the class name was the same as the file name that I have selected in past, and we'll be following the same practice. And these files will have ID as the primary key, all these models or objects, and properties representing the entity's data. We'll also include collections and navigation properties for relationships like project to tasks or task to comments. So let's go through the code one by one, and then I will flip over to Visual Studio to build these classes quickly in front of you. So let's go over the project file. Now this represents a project as is obvious from the name. It has got ID, name, description, collection of tasks, list of task items, tasks, collection of tasks, and collection of teams. Now we will be keeping all these 6 classes free of Entity Framework core specific attributes for now. So when I say Entity Framework core specific attributes, I mean all using the data annotations and putting attributes like required or any other attribute over on top of the public properties within square brackets, because that is now a bit old-fashioned, even though it works still, but it gives a bit of a cluttering appearance on the classes. So we'll make it clean by using Fluent API to configure relationship, but that will be in the next videos. So let's go over the next item. Next model is task item.cs, task item class, and now it represents a task assigned to a project and optionally a user. It includes the title, status, project ID, and collection of comments. Okay, so when I say optionally a user, then this is optional, assigned to user ID. User ID means the ID of the user. Now let's see the user class. So it represents an application user. It has username. There is a bit of a typo over here, but don't worry. This will be all clear when we build the models actually on the Visual Studio. So username, email, and teams, list of team. And team.cs, team class, it has name, a list of users, okay, and which are members, and project ID to associate with the project. Team has to be associated with the project, right? So again, we'll be keeping these classes free of Entity Framework core specific attributes, and we'll be configuring relationship using the Fluent API in the next video. And then two more classes are there, comment class and the attachment class. Comment represents a comment on a task. It has content. So it has content created at timestamp and reference to the task item ID. And finally, we have got the attachment class. It represents a file attached to a task, and it stores file name, file path, and task item ID linking to the task. Okay. And I have now flipped over to Visual Studio 2022, and I will start working on the solution that we built in the first and second lectures, solution Colab PM system, and I will start working on the Colab PM system.core. So over to the code. So I will run through the building the code quickly, and I will put it in the GitHub source code. So you can either follow, if you can do it fast by rewinding, or you can just simply clone the code from the GitHub repository. Now that we have completed our models, let's build the application. I've already built it once in testing phase, so I will clean it. So clean succeeded, and then rebuild the solution. So you can see rebuild all 3 succeeded. Okay, so rebuild again succeeded. Let us see what we have learned. In this video, we created our domain entities. In the core project, these POCO classes define the fundamental data structure for our collaborative project management system. And by keeping the domain model clean and free of infrastructure dependencies, we follow the clean architecture principle. So next, in the part 6, we will integrate entity framework core and configure our DB context and prepare for our first migration. So now let's go over to building our code base on Visual Studio.